A lot of people here are enthusiastic about VR, but this guy is more enthusiastic than anyone else I have ever met about VR. He is one of the founders of the Silicon Valley Virtual Reality Meetup, and he made the dream happen, and now he's working full-time in VR at an awesome little company called AltspaceVR. And was anyone here the last time AltspaceVR came out? They were actually the second presenter we had. I see a couple people that were here, just a few of them. How many people are here for the first time, by the way? Any first timers? Wow. Wow, nice. So the first time they came, Bruce rolls up with his little bag, and out of this little bag, it was like some sort of VR clown car. He pulls out like 4 fully functional AltspaceVR demo rigs out of this little bag. It was almost defying the laws of physics. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Bruce.
All right. Please. All right, very good. I feel like I'm at a piano. Very good. Hello, welcome to my recital. Here we go. We're going to do this live in the client. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Bruce Woods. I'm Bruce, Head of Developer Relations at AltspaceVR. Been with Altspace since the beginning. Co-founder SPVR, and we're on the 16-stop tour of madness to show you what Altspace has been up to for the past year or so, and also some of the cool stuff you can do with the JavaScript SDK. So without further ado, to give you a sense of what AltspaceVR is about, it is a platform for people to hang out in VR, to enjoy each other's company, but also to share web content in real time, both 2D and 3D web content. So you see I'm in this room. Cool, I am able to pull up the places I can go, but first I'm going to pull up a web browser, and I'll be like, oh, well, I want to go to a website, altvr.com/new avatars. Oh, what a great segue, Bruce. All right, very good. So what we're going to do is with one click, like a Chromecast, I send that from my private web browser that was floating in front of me in VR to a public web browser that is now synchronized with everyone in the room. And one of the things we have been working on is avatars, actually. We have some of the cute, iconic things, kind of abstract, cute robots, which are pretty cool using the Leap Motion there, or rather the Connect V2. We also work with the perception neuron. We got these humanoids. A few of our engineers are from DreamWorks and worked hard on these avatars and make sure they avoid the uncanny valley and keep the user comfortable. And of course, when they talk, their mouth flap, which is great. We have a few choices, but definitely primarily in Altspace is about comfort and performance. So the avatars are pretty abstract, but once you're in VR, see that they move like humans, it actually becomes pretty comfortable. Also, we've been head down on being cross-platform. Right now, I'm running this on a Surface Book in 2D mode with no VR headset attached. Recently released on Gear VR. We also work with the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive, and all of those platforms can be together in the same room in VR hanging out. To speak to that, let me go ahead and go here, and let me wake up this guy. This is Gear VR that's hooked up via T-Mobile connection, and it is gone. No, I'm logged out. That's a shame. That is a damn shame. All right, very good. So I'm going to go ahead and get that back. No, just because it was sitting too long.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and let that load up for a second while I talk about something else fun. Here we go. So one of the most fun things, most exciting things that some of you for the first talk in Boston were probably remember is the 3D web content. So what we've got, if you can see here, these notches, they're denoting a cube. That is a volumetric web browser. It's a web browser that is not a plane, it is a cube. And it's, well, to back up, to show you 3D web content and what I'm talking about, let me actually pull up just a regular web browser here. Say Chrome, bring up a chess game. And this is what we mean by 3D web content. This is clearly a 2D web page, but it's rendering a 3D scene, and I have 3D objects, and I'm able to move around this scene. And they're clearly 3D objects, yes?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and take this URL, Control-C. I'm going to go ahead and Alt-Tab back to AltspaceVR, open up this URL bar, press Control-V, and pray. And what happens is this. Thank you. In the words of the esteemed Jeb Bush, please clap. All right. Very good. So here's what we're looking at. We're looking at a website that is no longer a page. It is literally a site. It is a place I can walk around and I can manipulate those objects in real time. The other wow factor depends on my poor technology that is not working. Jesus, Gear VR, please. Please, Oculus, load, please. Jesus, yes, I acknowledge the health warning, please, yes. Yes, I've been using VR for many years now, Oculus, please. Please, okay, it is now loading AltspaceVR up, so in the meantime, I'm gonna show you things that are fun. All right, here we go. So we have this chess game, we might bring this up later. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up a very secret URL. Shh, don't tell your friends. There we go. And in French, we call this la grande page d'application. So here we go. I'm going to bring this page up here, and I'm going to show you something that I did with this SDK in just a afternoon. So one of them was, if you're familiar with CodePin, you're probably familiar with Chill the Lion, and I brought Chill into VR. So instead of having the fan there, your head is the fan. It taps into the skeleton of the avatar, and now he responds to my location. He's so cute. Let's get another one in here. Let's see. Let's go back to the list. Another one was a Three.js project that was really cool of NeonCat, and of course I had to do that. So now, hold on, let me give you the full taste here. That's what I'm talking about. So now I can bathe in the sparkles, and now I know that Non has a butt and it's not frosted. So this is over the course of an afternoon. I was able to take existing Three.js projects and port them into, or basically make those pages aware that they're loading in AltspaceVR and have them render as objects that are in VR. And when NonCat, you see him in VR, he's like 4 feet tall and you can hug him. It's amazing. There were several high people last night in Altspace that found it fascinating. Well, excellent. Let me go back to the gear, get it back in. Forgive me. It was prepared, I swear. Come on. All right, here we go. Yeah, getting into the level here. So on Gear VR, it's everything's pretty much using a touchpad. You can use it to scroll when you get in. You get a list of the things, the places you can visit. And you still have the teleport system in Gear. You just use the side to tap. You can look at a ground, look at a place you want to be in the room, tap, and you'll teleport to that location. And now it is, oh, right, we are in the room. I'm muted. That is fine. Oh, God. All right, let me put myself back in here. Here we go. All right, here we are. Guys, see me? What's up, guys? Yeah. Another thing that we got was emojis. I love you guys so much. I'm so happy to be here. It's great. So we have it cross-platform, and that's on the T-Mobile connection. Let's actually rewind it back. Let's go all the way back. Let's take it back. Oh, no, that's too far. Too far, Bruce. All right, here we go. So now we have the chessboard. Let's see over at T-Mobile. Please be kind to me. Load up this chessboard, please. Do it. Do it. Do it. It's loading. It's loading. It's trying its best. T-Mobile. Yes. Awesome. I'm now looking hopefully at the same chessboard, and now I'm gonna scoot a little closer, and I'll move this piece back. I'm gonna move this piece over. I'm gonna move it over here. How about that? I play my own chess. I'm gonna play my own rules. Screw your rules. Now it's a crazy puppet now. So what you're seeing is cross-platform, and also we're seeing the same content and able to have a cross-platform play through Gear and a desktop user. So let's experiment a little more. What happens when you have a user that's maybe wrapped their head around this SDK, and they've been doing it for maybe a couple weeks. They have a project maybe a week or two. They can do this. So this is from Sith Lord, very cool. Again, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. We have a full game of air hockey. Yeah! Awesome. And to give you kind of a quick overview of what this is, it's literally building a website. I actually have Prepros here loaded on this laptop. That's a local web server that has a cool auto reload feature whenever you change a file. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up one of those files that are on the Prepros server now, so you can see exactly what I'm dealing with. Let's get a hello world here. Awesome, 3JS text floating in the world. Beautiful. I'm gonna go to Sublime Text, my text editor of choice, and I'm just gonna go ahead and get the comment off of there and save that. So now I have a rotation that's in the render loop in the 3JS there. I'm gonna save. It's going to reload, and now in Altspace, I have a rotating letter system situation. So this is kind of the workflow that you're looking at to build these applications in AltspaceVR. And it's pretty cool. We did actually have in VR coding using CodePen. You had the CodePen window and you can type into it and have things change in real time. We got comfortable, it was all good, all optimized, and then CodePen did a complete site redesign and messed up everything. So now that doesn't work, that's on your own risk, but we'll look at ways to do that. It's really cool. What people don't tell you about doing VR and VR is that if you have a bug, you experience it firsthand, which is not always the best thing. Early in AltspaceVR, we had the right shift of death, which would spin the world rapidly. It was really bad. But what's cool about this is that it's a volumetric web browser. It's a contained experience. So if you have a bug, it's contained to that area, which is kind of neat. What happens if you have a small team and you work for a month? What you can end up with is something like this. So while this loads up, let me preface a little bit. One of the early things with the SDK, once we got it rolling, we had an internal game jam for 48 hours, and it was like, cool, let's do this and see what we can do. A couple other engineers and myself liked each other. We're like, D&D, tabletop? Like, yes, let's go. So that totally went down. Very rudimentary tabletop system. This was in the closed beta days. I ran a game, a dozen people showed up, 6 people stayed. We stayed in for 5 hours. D&D for 5 hours straight in VR is possibly the nerdiest thing you could possibly do. And it was fantastic. So we doubled down, we polished it up a little bit with a few more weeks of work, and at that point, Wizards of the Coast is like, what are you doing? And we're like, nothing. And, and they wanted to see what we were working on, so went to Seattle, did some demos, went to Seattle again, did some more demos. We partnered with them, and we have official partnership with Wizards of the Coast to do D&D stuff, which is awesome. So this is that. Oh, please clap. Yeah. So we're really happy about that. And this is what is the result of that experience. So we have a web app, and we built an entire environment around that web app experience. We have the tavern, you have the fire, maybe the story starts over here. God, adventurers, we'll tell the tale. Before I start, what kind of person am I? Of course, I'm a bard. Yes, yep. You know it. Oh, yeah. And another cool feature, I've got a camera in Altspace. It's not just for selfies. I could zoom it out and get the whole place as well, which is cool. But hey, now I have a freaking guitar on my back. So that's beautiful. Turn the camera off here. I said turn the camera off. Okay, very good. And now I'm going to go over here. So we have the table, we have the play area, and then one of these public displays. I am not satisfied with what's up there right now, though. It's a Wizards homepage. It is awesome. What I'm going to do is go to YouTube, and that's going to load up for me there. And I'm going to go ahead and do a search for tavern music. Here we go. I want to set the mood. Yeah, you ready for an adventure with me, baby? Here we go. Sorry. Here we go. Let's see if this is going to work here. And I send that up, and that is going to play me some mood music there for my tavern. Great. You have an adventure. Beautiful. So now the table is loaded. Again, this table is all HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The dice, the battle grid, the DM station here, and we have private web browsers that are your tomes that follow you around the table depending on where your spot is around the table here. And those are really neat because it gives you all this contextual information, making pen and paper a floating piece of paper, essentially. My character sheets, my notes from the last game, which are still saved. I was Sharif. Very good. And if I want to say play D&D 3.5, this is a web browser. I could bring in my own, PDF or whatever resources I wanted. Right? Quite simple. So from here, I have my library of stuff. I just drag and drop. Then I can click on that thing. I can maybe turn around, kill him, bring him back to life. All right, very good. I also have some heroes that I can choose from that I can put on the board. I have different tiles that I can choose from that I could bring up as well. And I could also save and load, so I can go ahead and load up something I built before and say, yes, load that up. So if I was a DM working hard at work, I schedule an event, and I could, on the fly, bring up different battle grids to kind of keep the game going, which is pretty neat. And of course, the dice chandelier, give a couple D20s down. Rain on me. Yeah. Choosing Canon JS, and there we go. Oh! Ah! You draw your sword and cut off your own legs. Bad stuff. So the whole point of this, I mean, this is just one great use case, but the whole point of this is that we are around a table together. We are around the world, but we are around this virtual table. And as opposed to being in Hangouts or on Skype, we can inhabit the avatars. I can get the sense of eye contact with someone. They can tell what I'm paying attention to. If I have a leap or a connect or a perception neuron, I can point at things at the table. I can emote, which is amazing. And then extends. Like I said, I can go over here to start the story. Maybe I go over here because we have 3D positional sound. I drag a player over here as a DM and tell them a secret, and the people at the table can't hear it, right? Or maybe I just get really involved and I really want to role play, and I get behind the bar. Aye, lads, get a pint, pull up. Or we're gonna dance. Oh yeah. So we can. There's a lot of things that we can do here that enhance kind of the essential experience of sitting around the table and playing this tabletop game. Recently we've also partnered with Boss Monster that actually just released, so we can get around people around the world, play a game of Boss Monster as well, which is very, very cool. And we've been doing all types of stuff to see what type of things people are going to like to do in VR together after the honeymoon period with the VR headset is over. We've got disc golf, we've got various games that you can play, of course, but we also are very heavy on events. We have presentations, tech talks. We have, oh my gosh, this music is just crazy. It's making me want to bust out in the song, and I can't do that right now. Let's go to the Tumblr gallery quickly. Yeah, we just had all types of events, AMAs. We got the data from a volcanic crater, had the person that got that data to give a tour of it, which was a really awesome experience. We've just been doing all of these things to see what type of thing we can do to bring people together in VR, what type of things we can do to motivate users to build their own communities in AltSpace and what tools they're going to need, and also to just provide some things that are fun to do with other people and foster that connection, either finding people that have common interests or just I want to make a private event and have a private movie night. That's cool too, right? What you're seeing here is another thing that's using our SDK. In real time, it's pulling the information from various Tumblr accounts, getting that art, and I could choose to arrange that art in different ways. So now it's like these giant paintings of this person's Tumblr arts, their profile. It's kind of scattered through the space like it's an art gallery. And then we can have that person can talk about their creative process making this art, right? So not only taking what's already existing on the web, but enhancing it, because with VR, you have access, you have a connection to people that you otherwise would not be able to have. Which has been very important. Why does this involve you? A couple things we have going on. I have $150,000 set aside, of which I have $128,000 left to throw at developers that would like to build things with us and for us using our JavaScript SDK. You are, like I said, literally building a website. You own what you make. We're literally just looking for cool ideas, rough prototypes that have a lot of promise, and we'll throw money at you to flesh them out and see where they go. And in general, what we've been doing is just building spaces around those web app experiences, putting them in rooms. So, hey, this is the air hockey room. This is where you go to play that web app, right? The other thing we're looking for is people that are excited about doing things in VR. If you are a person that wants to do a regular meetup in VR, if you want to have a language immersion night, which we already have Spanish, French, and Arabic going on, for people around the world that come up and practice their French, which I actually did earlier this morning, which was cool. Je suis meilleur du monde! I'm the best in the world. Ridiculous. We are looking for folks, even if you're like, whoa, D&D, I didn't know you guys had that. I want to be a DM, I want to run some games. We need people to run those things. So that is also something important. And one of the things that we've done that's unique to AltspaceVR is that we have a concierge. We have a person that's in the welcome space when you first pop in to say, hey, what's up? Welcome to AltspaceVR. Let me help you out. This is what you can do. And we need that connection, that social connection. It's just not an empty room where you hope people have fun. We want to make sure that people are making connections there, starting with an Altspace staffer and going from there to maybe someone in this audience that'll be an awesome event organizer for us. So you can go to altvr.com/event organizer and put in info there. Or if you're interested in the developer stuff, developer.altvr.com is a place to go there. So that is AltspaceVR in a fairly large nutshell. Thanks for listening. I think I have about 8 minutes left, so we can open it up for Q&A.
How many simultaneous people do you have now and projected growth already in terms of the size?
Yeah, we're definitely projecting growth. So in particular spaces, we do the cutoff at 30 for Gear VR, so phones don't catch on fire. We do the cutoff at 100 for desktop clients, which has been working out. For events, actually just natural occurring events, like 60 to 70 is kind of the turnout right now, but that was before Gear VR hit. Since we've launched on Gear VR a couple weeks ago, Altspace has not been empty, with the exception of the time we crashed. But otherwise than that, there's been always people in Altspace actually round the clock. I peek in at 3 in the morning, and there's some random people speaking Japanese or French. So it's been pretty interesting. We've had thousands of users from 50 different countries at this point. And given the S7 release and Minecraft still hasn't hit Gear VR people, so there's definitely some Gear VR bumps in the future. Yeah?
So, other than the ability from the browser content to be in the space, are you able to, say you have a group of 5 people, can one of those people decide to show an image or a video or something on a plane in the space through the other people?
Yeah, that's already happening. So when I beam something to the big screen, everyone's seeing what's on that big screen. So we have some spaces that are only for the admin to do that, or the creator of that event has power over that big screen because maybe they're throwing up their Google presentation or slides.com, or maybe they are doing a cat video review, and they're in charge of that, right? And we do have some open rooms where people can do whatever they want in there, and of course on the desktop client you can go to, I can go to it right now, I'll show you. I can go to altvr.com/events, and on the events page I can go to my events and I can already start a D&D campaign. I can schedule an event and choose any of the spaces or start a quick event where it just will immediately just start a quick event for me. So I have those options, have an event, have a link to send to people, invite them, and then we can share that content privately, which is cool.
And when you present that media, do you have to do it in the virtual space, or can you do it on the back end somehow also?
Everything is done in the virtual space so far. I mean, each user has their own local browser instance that's happening there. So, for example, we're optimized with Netflix, Twitch, and YouTube. But for Netflix, if I am running a movie night, I put the Netflix movie up. If some rando comes into the room, they're going to see on that big screen, please sign into Netflix, right? And so they got to sign in, and then they can see the movie, and then they'll be synchronized with the timestamp. Yeah. So we're not rebroadcasting anything. That's not what we're doing with our servers. We're just doing synchronization and handling, all of the networking stuff that's going on between the, avatars, VoIP, that kind of thing.
What about the images? If the image is on the VR phone, can you just share something out of your gallery, for example?
Right now it has to be through the web, so we're not going that deep into going to the songs or the images that are on my my Note 5 and putting them up on the screen. We're not there, or stuff that's on your desktop, for example. It's all web-based stuff right now. Sure?
So if someone were to code a game that takes place in the world with avatars, so not necessarily a board game or chess, but with avatars. So let's say maybe there's violence or some other activity that takes place in standard multiplayer games. What would they code that in, and is that even possible?
Yes, with the SDK, like I said, the volumetric web browsers, we do have a gamepad API that's there. So if you want, you can have a little mini avatar jumping around, or battling orcs or something in that contained experience. That's something that there's been one kind of prototype internally that was built to do that, but not really. But yeah, that definitely would be a possibility. We are definitely mindful of some of the content that's available in AltspaceVR in our public spaces. So we're taking some steps to make sure that that is definitely in control. I would expect that there'd be a space where, hey, you're going to a public space, you're aware that the content it's just coming from the web. So that's that kind of fair warning there. You're in the public space. But you can definitely have a private space, invite people, or you can make an event, and in that description you can say, hey, there's going to be this content. So. Yes, in the back.
How much visibility into the environmental context can you get if you're creating something for the volumetric browser? Can you know that we're in like a public space, or it's a private room, or it's some other details so you can tailor the content for that?
Yeah, you have some visibility there. So you have avatar position. That's how I have the guitar on my back. That was the web app. So the avatar skeleton, you have that. The username of avatar, so you can say, okay, this person and this person are playing, so no one else can reset the game until they're done, for example. With the environments, I think there's not a lot available there yet. So yeah, I don't know if you have an app that is in need of that, we're flexible, we're willing to open that discussion and seeing what you need. But I don't think that's something that's been asked for up to this point. Yeah.
What about combinations of things? So I bring the chess set in, and I bring in some NPC avatars, and I walk into the scene. Can that happen? In other words, can multiple things combine?
Right now, not quite. We don't have any system for NPCs. Right now, it's you have what you're building to restrict to that that web app. So like the environments, the avatars, things like that. We're not opening that up at this time. Oh, in the back. Yep.
I was wondering if you have any analytics to capture how people move around in space, or if you're doing anything to track user behaviors in all this.
Yeah, we have some really basic game analytics going on. We're seeing what exactly kind of information. We have just general stuff about, hey, is where people are going. Unity has like heat maps, so that's already there. And we know one of the stats we're really proud of is average session time, which is like around 30 minutes, which is very cool. Which most VR experiences are maybe 2 to 5. So that's pretty neat. Gear VR, I think it's around that same. It's 25 minutes right now, so it's really cool. So it's pretty basic. We want to be careful there. We want to make sure that whatever we're doing, we have to state in our privacy policy. VR can be a creepy place for that kind of tracking, especially with the crowd of the people that are going to be the early adopters are probably not going to be very open. Like, what are you tracking? But generally, things that are going on in public spaces, we have that on. Private spaces, not so much. Yes.
You guys have plans for capturing real environments instead of synthesizing video environments?
Yeah, so all the environments are made from the ground up by our team, mainly, like I said, because performance and comfort are kind of high priority with Altspace, and that's kind of the way we've rolled so far. We had made the VR volcano environment. That was actually taken from data that was scanned in the real world, and it was done to scale, so it's absolutely humongous and ridiculous. But we haven't looked into more of that yet. We'll see where that goes if the opportunities pop up.
And then another thing was, in terms of capturing my face on an avatar, what's going on there?
Again, comfort and performance are #1 priority with AltspaceVR. There's a couple problems with trying to capture a photorealistic face. One, you can do a capture and it's photorealistic and it looks good if it's still, and then it starts moving and it creeps everyone out, right? So animation is a problem, and performance. That avatar, to make it look photorealistic, to make it look right, is going to be a lot of draw calls. And we're talking about a Gear VR and having 30 of those avatars in the same space. Yeah, that becomes a real issue. So right now, there are simplistic avatars. They're low poly, and that's just a result of, as the hardware adapts, we will. And you can see here, this is a volcanic environment here. You can see how huge it is, and I think this is going to be the end of my time here. So this is the base camp. And then, yeah, come on. There we go. There's a helicopter, and then you can kind of, there we go. You can kind of see here. This is a vertical cliff face, and he was giving this talk like, oh, this is where we dug and got our ropes, and right here is where I almost died from acid rain. it's nuts to get down there. And, here's where he melted his GoPro. Yeah, so that's the real environment that we have. It's pretty cool. All right, I think that's time. So I'm happy to answer more questions on the demos. One more thing, this is a 16-stop tour. We are having a giveaway as a part of that, which is cool. So we're giving away CP1, a Gear VR, and some AltspaceVR swag. So I believe in the other room we have an iPad for sign up for that. So sign up. Here we go. Thanks.
All right, freebies. So this experience here is something I'll never forget in VR. It actually started out in a conference room, and the presenter, Sam Kosman, the adventurer, he had us all in there, and at one point he goes through about his travels and his adventures, and he says, okay, follow me, and he kind of walks through the room, and there's this poster on the other side of the room of a volcano, and he says, follow me, just jumps through it, and then everyone else in the room just jumps right through and follows him into this world, and he guided us through it, and I felt like I was there with him. I mean, the graphics are pretty rudimentary and stuff, but when he was there at the bottom of this thing that's taller than the Empire State Building, gesturing up about how the acid rain was raining down on him, I felt like I was there with him, and it's got me really excited about the potential for VR education. So it's the first PowerPoint on there.
Got it.